Our journey begins. It is day 64, August 3rd, 2024, and we've been making some progress today. So on I started out by thinking through things, then I worked on updating of narrative 5 a little bit. I wanted to explore a little bit more in detail. So I wrote this part regarding whether or not we should, or how we should think about and how we should consider potentially the idea of needing to evolve humanity, or whether to, just how to handle that. And then I sketched and wrote narrative 6, which is quite a long narrative because ChatGPT wrote it based on my thinking sessions about the whole idea. So I'm gonna have to go through and mold the clay, but I think it's pretty decent. Like all the ideas that I want to put in here, we're putting in here. We just need to condense it down and really simplify it a bit without getting rid of any important detail. Then sketched out narrative 5. I've been using the mountain metaphor quite a bit. This idea of society needing to climb a bunch of mountains to get to the peak of whatever it is. So if you're gonna solve some specific problem where people are dying from cancer, as a very specific example, the peak of that would be, well, there's a cure for cancer or whatever. So then you'd have to figure out, okay, where is that peak? In that case, it's pretty simple. It's probably just finding a cure, but maybe that's more definition needed. And then it would be like, how do you know how to climb the mountain? Like, where do you go? And then it's like, okay, how do you even get started? So like, we know we need to climb the mountain. We have a potential idea of how to do it. How do we get started with that potential idea? So that's the movement genesis. And then I sketched out a little bit of narrative 8, which is the self-organization aspects. So farther down of that mountain metaphor would be like, if you know how to climb the mountain, then there's multiple mountains, how do you coordinate between the mountains? And how do you even coordinate as a team as you're trying to climb the mountain, trying to take different routes, trying to assess, trying to avoid dangerous cliffs? And then I think I'd like to put that back further in the narratives. So as far as the idea of the movement, and so this is where I was thinking that we could do scenes where they are climbing various mountains and such. And each narrative is like a different peak. So then there end up being like 12 peaks, 12 different mountains where you kind of climb up, you kind of explore different ideas. Like in terms of evolving humanity's consciousness and nature. And really this is also mostly answering the question of how to achieve the ultimate. Really that's looking to answer that question. So then we could do that metaphorically by having like a bunch of mountains that they're climbing, or that they're pointing out, saying, okay, if that, well, and then you would have started with, in the ultimate future, they're like walking around seeing these huge mountains in the distance, and they're saying, okay, if that mountain is this specific part of a better future, they sort of outline like all the obstacles, and but like possibly what the peak is. Like maybe they can see the base of the mountain, and they're just trying to figure out where the peak is. And then in narrative 5, they'd be thinking through all the obstacles in the way to climb the mountain. Anyway, might end up getting away from that, but I was thinking how like a lot of people understand mountains. They've seen mountains. Some people do not live anywhere near mountains, so they really have no idea. I think everyone understands like a hill. I don't know that there's anyone that doesn't understand what a mountain is. But I still think a lot of people maybe have never been on a mountain. They know what they look like, that sort of thing. But it's not a very near and dear metaphor. So you could do that. That's why I was thinking I could have them on their journey traveling through certain deserts or forests. I mean, we've already had them in the forest and like water and stuff like that. Some of those very symbolic things that everyone's familiar with. So I think I changed this up a little bit. So we ended up being able to write 5. We wrote 5, so then we wrote 5 some more. We did S by S 6 and wrote 6, S by S 7 and 8. So then tomorrow we can do write out 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. S by S 9 and 10. So then it would be, or do 11, and it would be 12. Current schedule, potentially. I do need to probably do some other things tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, in general, I didn't know if I'd get anything else done because I was doing some exercising time with family earlier. All right, I will see you tomorrow.